See, I got 7 people on. Usually these calls are based on building, and I probably should do this really on my agency conference call. I was going down one road, but then I'm thinking, got a couple things. Let me see if I'm no text. Okay, let me finish off with this. I covered this yesterday at the Cincinnati hotspot, and it's kind of a way of how you think and how you figure, how you can figure out how to not let your emotions rule your life. Okay, and this is something that I've battled with because I let my emotions sometimes rule me in a negative way instead of a positive way. All right, and so let's talk about the 3 states of mind. I love this model of how to think about how I react to things that happen to me in life. All right, so there are 3 states of mind. The first one is called the emotional mind. Golly, this thing's terrible. Okay, so think about the emotional mind. What is the emotional mind? The emotional mind is a part of you that is emotional, and where feelings reside, both positive and negative, that cause you to act in a positive or negative way, right? So let's just kind of keep it within the context of the business. So the emotional mind is the part of you that reacts to the fear of picking up the phone and dialing leads. Okay, and so think about how you feel sometimes when you're like scared of the phone. It's 50 pounds when you pick up that phone. And a lot of that on the emotional mind side is, fear of what they're going to say to you, like getting yelled at. Okay, people yelling at you, people putting you down, the fear of not booking appointments, because you have all this pressure on you. Golly. Not booking appointments, the fear of failure, the fear of, oh my gosh, this has to work. If it doesn't work, all these emotional things. Can I really do this? Like, think about all the things that your mind starts running away and the emotions start going haywire, and you just start pummeling down this roller coaster of negative emotions, which then causes you to do nothing, which then causes you to not work, which then causes you to feel bad about yourself, and then causes the negative feelings and depression feelings of, I'm not worthy, I'm not worth it, someone like me can't do this, right? The emotional mind reacts to people that tell you, you can't do this, and your emotional mind says, maybe they're right. Maybe I can't do this, right? You start believing all the negative things that you've heard about yourself, and then you start reacting negatively. And that's the emotional mind working on you, right? How many of us have been emotional about anything, and you start making bad decisions based on emotion? And it's an impulsive thing, because the emotion is an instantaneous thing, which then causes you to act impulsively to do nothing. You know that you've got a dial session getting ready to start at 4 p.m. today, and then you try to rationalize, how can I get out of it, because of these negative feelings of emotion that thwart you doing what you're supposed to do. And that's the emotional mind working, okay? And so we've all been there in a huge way. So here's the other side of your mental state. So there's 3 mental states: emotional mind. Now let's talk about the reasonable mind. So the reasonable mind works like this, and it's very rational. It's very unemotional. It's boom, boom, boom. I'm going to do this, 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 and this. And typically, usually it's men, but it's women too. When you're confronted with a problem that you need to solve, that that you need to solve it. Okay, like here's an example. Your child gets sick, throws up in the middle of the night, right? And you hear her or him throwing up, and they're like maybe a toddler, 3 years old, and your rational mind says, I need to go see what's wrong. I mean, you certainly can act emotional. It's like, oh my gosh, what's the matter? But the rational mother in you, let's take a mother or father, says, I need to go figure out what's wrong. Let's assess the situation. You go in, okay, is there a fever? Let's check for fever. How do you feel? She's throwing up. You got to take care of it. You got to clean it up, get her situated, figure out what you're going to do. Boom. And it's almost really unemotional because you need to fix the problem, figure it out. And then you go to the next thing, and the next, do I need to take her to the emergency room? And what's amazing is that you'll act in a strong, reasonable way, even though you might feel all these crazy emotions. But you will just go boom, 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 so I need to resolve the problem. People in hero situations, you see a car accident, and then you go to help the person get out of the car before it blows up. And they call you a hero, right? But you react, you pull over, okay, there's some flames coming out of the car. This person is woozy, and I need to get this person out of the car because the car could blow up. Let's open the door, unseat the seatbelt, unhook the seatbelt, pull them out, and let's get them away from the danger. And you're not even thinking emotionally like, oh my gosh, are they too heavy to, or is it going to blow out when I'm there? Like all these heroes that do that, they pull them out, and then after the fact, it's, oh, you're a hero. It's like, well, I did this, 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 and this. And I didn't think I was a hero, but everyone says they're a hero. And a lot of times the gravity of what they did emotionally doesn't happen until after they got it done, and they go, oh my gosh, did that really happen? Did I really do that? And sometimes they break down crying. It's like, because their emotional mind kicked in. But when they were doing it, their reasonable mind was the one that was, boom, I got to take care of this, boom, 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 boom. Or you can take, the oil thing on your car says oil maintenance required. Kind of the cheat light comes on, and it's like, oh man, I got to get my oil changed. So what do you do to get your oil changed? Well, I've got time between appointments to go to Jiffy Lube because I don't have time to do it myself. I'd rather pay somebody. And so I'm going to take my car to Jiffy Lube. They're going to change the oil. It's probably going to take about 20 minutes, which is enough time for me to make a few dials on the phone before my next appointment. And then, boom, I'm in the car, and then I'm going to my next appointment. You don't even think about it, but your reasonable mind is the one that helps you solve the problem in a rational way, right? So that's the reasonable mind working. And you have both states of mind. But here's where the power mindset is. And it's in this middle ground. And this part is called the wise mind. When you work in the wise mindset, you temper your emotions, your emotional mind, with your reasonable mind. And you temper your reasonable mind with your emotional mind, right? So what do you mean by that? Well, you think that the reasonable mind, gang, you can't always be staying in the reasonable mind. Sometimes the reasonable mind says, I will dial these leads and I will make appointments. But sometimes you have to kind of insert emotion. It's like, man, I'm fired up because I'm going to call these leads and I'm going to help these people. And okay, you see how that emotional mind can help charge up the reasonable mind of what you need to do. And then you're operating in the wise mind. You're operating here. Do you see how that works? You're freaking out about making dials. But here's kind of the thing. Remember when you made dials last week? Yeah. And do you know how you booked appointments last week? Yeah. Okay, so why are you still afraid of making dials when you know that you were able to book appointments last week? Well, maybe I was just lucky. Oh, that's an emotional mind thing. Discounting. The word is called discounting. Discounting what you did successfully in the past that your reasonable mind says, well, you booked appointments last week. You made some sales last week. On the rational side, you did what you were to do because you went through the process. And so the emotional mind says, I was lucky. It's like the reasonable mind says, no, you weren't lucky. You went through the numbers and it worked. You see how that works? Then when you're using your reasonable mind, working on your emotional mind, you're in the wise mindset. You see how that works? So all the crazy emotions can be harnessed with the reasonable mind telling you, don't discount the things you did well in the past, right? It proves you wrong that you were lucky. You weren't lucky, you did the work. That's why I love what Will Perry said, is it's like, this ain't working, okay? Now, he could go emotional, it's like, maybe I really got lucky the month before. Maybe I really suck at this and I just got lucky. No, he didn't go there. His reasonable mind kicked in and said, you know what, I need to go get some help. I was doing good before, I'm not doing good now, so I'm gonna call Jason and Tawny Care to see if I get some tweaking. I'm gonna watch a few more my standardized videos that keep me baselined into what I'm supposed to do, and I'm gonna figure it out because I know I was successful in the past, I can be successful now. There's something I'm not doing that I was doing before. Reasonable mind. And so now, interjecting his reasonable mind to his emotional, he's in the wise mind, and he makes the decision, I'm going to get the help I need. Boom. Got the help and made this realization that he didn't do the upfront contract part, the what happens next in the sales. Boom. Now he's off to the races again. See, so do you see how this model works great? So whenever you're letting emotions get a hold of you, remember the reasonable mind. When someone says, this won't work for you because, you're not good enough. So you can continue with the emotional mind, but here's the reasonable mind says, well, maybe you are good enough. In fact, I know you're good enough because you've done great things in the past by tweaking and getting things right, by getting around people that are going to teach you. You've done well in the past in other things. There's no reason why you can't do well here if you apply the same process that you had in the past, being good at something in the past. I don't care if it's good at sports or good at your job, which you did before, you can apply the same process to this to get better, right? And we're teaching you the process. All you have to do is do it. So the reasonable mind should kick in, and then you're operating in the wise mindset, right? So always evaluate when you're making decisions about when life hits you, when stuff hits you, and then you start reacting emotionally, kick the reasonable mind in and go back to, you know what, I was really good before. I did this really well before. I made appointments last week and I closed. There's no reason why I can't do the same now. And so I'm getting on the phone. I'm going to do what I did, repeat the process, and get better at it because I've got the Alliance Media app so I can listen to audio. I can go to my hotspots every week. I can go to Instant Thunder next week to get better. I'm doing what the reasonable mind says to temper the emotions so I can operate in the wise mindset when I make decisions. So every time you got that emotion going, man, interject the reasonable mind and you're going to be in the wise mind. Or if you're trying to be totally reasonable without the fire and passion of blowing it up, interject the emotional mind and you're in the wise mindset, and then you're always going to make the better decision, right? And what Andy always says, if I can make 51% good decisions versus 49%. I'm winning, right? It's just a game of inches. It's only that little percentage better decision-making process. It's like when you're afraid, the emotional mind says, oh man, I don't know if I can make a GMR investment. I just like, am I going to turn the money around? I've got some money, but PM 1000, I don't, oh man. You know, so when the emotional mind kicks in, the reasonable mind says, you know what, you got so many people that are going to help you. You can defer the payments on that for a month, and then they spread out the payments for 3 months, right? And then once you get enough commissions coming in, which you've shown you've been able to sell in the past, you can pay that off and start another one. And you're going to get your money out of it because you've got all the help you need from your upline, from the system, from all the training, from all the association, right? You've got people that will do everything they can to help you turn that money around and turn that investment around, as long as you're willing to put the work in. See, that's the rational, reasonable mind's kicking in that says, if I'm going to make this investment, I better do the work behind it. I better be committed to $300-400 a week, or whatever it takes for you to do the work to back up that PM 1000. But you see, operating the wise mind when it comes to making investments in the business will always be better for you, because a reasonable mind says, you got help. If you put the work in, then it will be good for you. You will make your return on investment, and it'll be good for the alliance. And then you become a great success story that other people can latch onto and say, hey man, if they can do it, I can do it. So you become an inspiration to other people. Do you see how that leverage works? Again, operating in the wise mindset. All right, gang? So that is it. I hope some of these things help you. There's a lot of really good stuff out there on the reasonable, emotional, and wise mindset. It's a real powerful thing if you can, kind of use it in the proper context. You don't got to be an expert in it, but understand how you're feeling and what you can do to change your state of mind. Use another mindset you already have so that you can operate in the wise mindset. Right, gang? Rock on. I hope this helped out.